Hello, welcome to Kapow Toys Presents. I'm your host, King Grimlock, and tonight we're going to be looking at Hunt for the Decepticons Hailstorm. Now, this was a new one. This came a little bit out of the blue, actually, when they first announced this guy. Very interesting looking toy. Quite a stout carrier. Wonderfully detailed. Oh, what a wonderful bit of detail on this. It does have one major drawback. And I'm almost going to get it out the way now, purely because I think it's the only thing that hampers this toy from greatness. These rockets. Now, they aren't launching, but you have eight loose rockets, all of which can be fired by pressing them out. Now, it's things like that I imagine the extra bit of work that's made into getting these all sculpted and and produced means that we don't have a post and port system for the entire front of the toy. This entire front has a habit of moving. Simple little thing maybe, but it is a bug. It is a bugbear, and it's that hampers it from greatness, both in this mode and in. That's how if I finish transforming them before I show them off to you. In this mode and in the others as well. The sculpted detail is phenomenal. As I pointed out earlier, I will highlight this issue on the next and when I've transformed it as well. Lovely paneling detail down the side, picked out paint apps on the wheels, separately on the tracks. I'm not sure if that's a cast. Is that cast plastic? That could well be cast plastic. No. Yes? No. Maybe. Maybe. Yes, it is. Look on the inside. Yes, gold plastic syndrome ahoy. And that carries through on the knee joints as well there. Part of the articulation seems. And more paint apps down the side. I mean, who's going to miss this thing? It's got camo, I don't know. The overall aesthetic, especially of this mode, is absolutely superb. As I say, little issue, the fact that doesn't feel complete, the fact that they've put the additional effort into picking out the paint apps of the camo scheme but not carrying on over the entire thing, especially when the camo scheme goes over all these wonderful studded detail around the cabin. I mean, it's almost braille, there's that much detail around there. It's just, on both sides, phenomenal work. But with this camo scheme, it doesn't highlight it in the way it should. Maybe if the sculpted detail, that level of sculpted detail carried all the way through into these areas, fine. Get rid of the camo, maybe pick out the paint apps all around the front, the engine cylinders in there, the great. You've got the black picked out there, but you haven't got them picked out in there. The lights haven't been picked out at all. People obviously put a lot of effort into designing these guys, and then around the back there's nothing at all. It's just the cast plastic. People put a lot of effort into designing these guys, to making these guys look as good as possible for Hasbro, and then someone does the paint apps and doesn't do as great a job. It's not a worry as such. It's just a bit disappointing. Also disappointing is the fact that these missiles don't have a launching mechanism. The fact that the launching mechanism is your thumb. It's minor quibbles. It really is, because this is quite a nice, especially in this mode. It's quite a nice toy. It's absolutely solid. For what it is, you're gonna lose your missiles. Anybody over the age of, well, I mean, I almost lost one yesterday. It went flying off. You're gonna lose one missile at some point, and I can imagine there'll be a lot of loose ones of these on eBay in the near future with 4 missiles or 5 missiles. It's a disappointment. Maybe if they were fitted better, if they had a launch system. All it takes is trigger up on the top, rotating launch like G2 Dreadwind, something like that. Hampered because of it. Say, all this beautiful sculpted detail, it's wonderful, and none of it's picked out. Paint apps haven't been used to their fullest. A repaint will be on the card somewhere, and maybe that will be the one that does it. Let's have a look at his robot mode, because you know what? It's also very good. And Hailstorm in his robot mode, it's the Incredible Hulk, but it's really nice. I'll make a confession, I'm not keen on this toy, but that is actually down to my personal preference. Everything about it is good. He's got great articulation, all over, especially for such a stout and stocky figure. It's quite surprising how much articulation he has around all these areas. Everything is on ball joints and then on a swivel. Shoulders are massively articulated. Hips have thigh twists, knee joints, And the ankle isn't, unfortunately, on a ball joint. It would have been nice, but you know, it's on enough that you can get a lot of posability out of him. And as I say, for such a stout and stocky figure, it's amazingly playable, amazingly posable, and detail in the thing. Head up there, yeah. Personally, I prefer the head down there. Either or, you have the choice with these guys, and that's quite nice. Well, it's very nice actually that Hasbro are sort of letting you develop your own figure with it. Head mould is very movie. I think I'm not, say on numerous occasions, I'm not a movie verse fan, and this guy isn't classic-esque enough to make me like him. He has a lot of great things about him, but there are the negatives. As highlighted before, these rockets, which are now can only be described as Kibble, with those bits sticking out the back. Like this little backpack, that's really nice. But Hinder, again, these hands are so ripe for articulation. Look at how beautifully chunky those fingers are. Just fantastic detailing. And you look at them and you feel like they should, but they don't. It is just painted on into the cast plastic. It's really disappointing that, you know, because of this, you feel like because you have this area, these launching rockets, you then lose the fact that you have the fingers articulated. And again, you have the similar sort of problem with the paint apps as well as you did in the other mode. Little bits are nicely picked out. The chest area, some lovely silver work there, the eyes and the sort of, I don't know, the targeting system probably. And the hands, but then we have vast expanses that are just the cast green plastic, and with the gold, the toe, you know, nice to have the toes picked out. But he is very uniform. He is very, very green. Overall, I am kind of picking small holes in him because I do like the aesthetic of it. It's just not my cup of tea. Overall, though, you are getting a great new toy here. You are getting a really nice idea. Very firmly rooted in the movieverse. The idea of him, the whole design of him. You can imagine this guy being on screen quite easily. He does remind me of Brawl from the first movie, in just his overall size and his bulk. He feels bulky. He feels nice. He isn't very kibbly. You know, obviously, you're not going to get much behind him on a shelf. But the detailing is very nice overall. Both modes are solid. This is a really difficult review for me because I can absolutely see why people will love this toy. I mean, you know, look at the detailing on the inside. That's on the inside of the tracks. You know, you only see that. Okay, it's not picked out on that bit, but you only see that in this mode. And these lovely tracks feel fantastic. Such a tactile thing. But as I say, it's a difficult review for me. There are so many high points. I couldn't recommend this highly enough to a fan of the movieverse. I think it is a sensational little piece. But as of not being a fan of the movieverse, I definitely wouldn't say buy it. I would say if you don't like the movieverse, there is not much in this toy for you. It's not going to be the one that sways your head. The one that sways your head's Pterodive. Go and get Pterodive instead of this guy. If you're looking for something to sort of dip your toe in the movieverse, get yourself a Lockdown, get yourself a Sea Spray, get yourself a Bludgeon. This guy's firmly rooted in Revenge of the Fallen / Transformers 3. And what he is epically good. But if it's not your cup of tea, then he's not going to change your mind.